I just want to talk about it while it's still fresh in my mind before I get up and do anything. But I just finished watching Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein with Mia Goth and Jacob Elordi and Oscar Isaac. Of course, there's more people in it than that. It was quite the cast. It's when I first started it, I was like 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours for a Frankenstein movie? How to the book is this going to be if we're at 2.5 hours? So I went, you know what? Let's watch it. I love Frankenstein. And Frankenstein's monster is one of my favorite horror characters. I love lots of things that have to do with Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. One of my favorite things is the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie. I like that Frankenstein in there. I also even love Mel Brooks' Frankenstein with Dr. Frankenstein. And there is other horror creatures that I like. But there's just something about Frankenstein and his monster. There's just something about that concept that just... I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it's always been one of my favorite things, and I do like Mary Shelley's writing and her verbiage with it. And so I was very excited to see this, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long to actually sit down and watch it. Like, I even watched the award shows where they were coming up with the awards for this movie, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to watch it. No, I know why it's taking me so long to watch this, because I get caught up in watching other things, because my list is like 3 years long. And I tried to watch things when they're like this, everybody's talking about it, it's big and blah, 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 blah. I tried to do it in a timely manner. But I got caught up in watching Idle Eye on Netflix. And I just didn't want to watch anything else until I finished that. So I finished it today, and I was like, you know what? Let's find something else to watch. And Frankenstein comes up, and it's, okay, let's watch Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And let's see what it's, is it all that it's cracked up to be? And now I like Guillermo del Toro. I like his work. I generally, if there is something of his that is coming out, I will, for the most part, watch it at least once. I liked his Pinocchio. It was very close to the original story, which you can still find. You can search for the original written Pinocchio story, and you can read it, which I have. And so I was very excited to see his Pinocchio, because I had heard that it's very close to the original story. And it was. I very much enjoyed that. So I generally will watch his things. And when I had seen, I think it was last year or the year before, when it was announced that he was going to be making a Frankenstein movie, I was just like, ugh, yes. And I was so excited to see it, and then seeing the previews for it got me more excited to see it. And I am sorry that I'm very behind the times in actually watching it. But I thought it was fantastic. To me, it's got that very wonderful darkness about it. It's got that original concept of Mary Shelley's work, where it's very much, what are the risks of playing God? What are the risks of creating life when we're kind of not meant to do that as humans, in the aspects of where Victor takes it? And I like that Guillermo del Toro's work, especially when it's based off of literature, so far tends to be, I'm not going to say exact, because it's not, but I like that it is close enough that if you were to pick up that novel, if you were to pick up that original work and read it, you would still feel the same way. And I got that from watching this. It was done so incredibly well. And it almost makes me want to, which I don't even think I have anymore. I used to have a lot of the original novels like that. I'd have to look. I haven't made it through all my boxes of books. But it makes me want to pull out Mary Shelley's novel and read it again. I want to watch this again. And I just got done watching it a few minutes ago. I already want to put it back on and watch it again, because I feel like I would notice more. There was so much going on. And then the special effects, the makeup, the costumery, it's so complete. And I'm not sure if this is how it was meant to go. I haven't watched anything behind the scenes, and I haven't listened to any interviews or anything like that. But I feel like the costumery was decided, in a sense, to match that character's representation. So Mia Goth's character, Elizabeth, she's for the most part in bright colors. Very flowy and delicate. It's extravagant, but it's still demure. It's still slightly dainty. It's still soft and flowy. And everything is fairly brightly colored. And to me, this is a person who is going to be slightly off in the sense that she's not going to be 100% a traditional woman in the 1800s, but that she is still innocent and good and has a big heart. And watching her character play out, it very much fit that. And, her just being slightly off was the fact that she was into sciences and she was into insects and things like that. But it matched it. And then his younger brother, while being an adult, still had a slight boyish look to him. And to me, that's kind of matching just, I guess, his innocence. He's trying to, it's almost, to me, his character was almost like he was trying to pretend to be an adult, but wasn't. He would do things that it's just like, okay, you're not mature enough. But then that ties into the fact that he was very young when his father died. He didn't ever know his mother because his mother died in childbirth. And it just, everything feels very detailed on purpose. Having Victor be very gloomy looking and wearing dark clothing all the time. And the only time that you ever see him in anything bright and colorful is when he's either with his mother, and it's in those few scenes where he's in all white. And then when his mother dies, he's in mostly black, but has that bit of red to represent her that is touching the white, that is with the innocence. And then the next time that you see him in bright colors, you know, it's him wearing a lot of white for his brother's wedding, but it seems forced and it seems wrong for him to be wearing it. Now, obviously, by that point in the movie, you pick up on that more because it's like, okay, you really shouldn't be wearing that because that is definitely not you. That is definitely not who you are or how you are. But it just, I liked it. I feel like everything is done so specifically and meticulously. And it probably very likely was. Like I said, I've never watched any interviews and I've never read anything about any of the behind the scenes or any of the choices that were made. The most I've seen was the original Netflix trailer. And that was about it. I haven't seen anything else. But it's just, everything is so specific, but it matches so well. Even the monster. Does he technically look like a monster? Yes, but does he also have this softness and innocence to him as well? Also, yes. And it's just, to me, everything seems to be very on purpose. And I like it. I like that if it is on purpose, I like what they went with. I like what was decided. Because it just matches everybody. And I feel like I don't need to know their life stories, and I didn't really need to know much about them to look at them and kind of get a idea of what their character is like. And I very much enjoyed this, and when it got to the end of the movie, it was just, this was one of those very few things that I've watched where it's long and I look at how long it's going to be, and then I'm watching it not paying attention to the time, and I get to the end and you're getting to the credits and you're like, are we done already? Is that it? There's no more? But I want more. I want like another 2 hours worth of this. Now, obviously, at that point, you'd have to really start making stuff up. But it's just incredibly enjoyable. I very much love this. I think it was done incredibly well and was very well planned out and thought out, and everything was done very specifically and meticulously, and I love everything about it because nothing seemed random. Everything seemed to fit and work how it was supposed to. It didn't seem like there was any randomness to it. There was any extra thing that was just in there because somebody absolutely wanted it to be in there, even if it made no sense. It's just, it flowed so well. And I very much liked it. I very much enjoyed it a lot. This is something that I will definitely watch probably a few more times. I very much enjoyed it. I would definitely give this I'd say easily a 10 out of 10. I can't think of anything that would drop it down below that. Now, were there times where I'm like, well, that's disgusting, and it really grossed me out? Yes. But it's just, it made sense. I can't think of anything to fault it for. At least not right now. Maybe if I watch it a couple more times, I might see something. But, as of right now, I can easily give it a 10 out of 10. And can very much recommend this to anybody. I would say don't let children watch this. It's very graphic. I would put the age cutoff at like 13, 14. I would not go any younger than that. I feel like a 13 or 14-year-old could handle a lot of this, and if they feel like it's too much, they can cover their eyes. A child younger than that, I feel like, would have a hard time, one, focusing on it, and two, being able to understand what's going on fully, and three, being able to handle some of the graphic portions of the movie. But very much recommend, if you haven't seen it, I very much recommend that you see it.